Almost overnight, Amadi and I grew from boy to girl, to man and woman. As we grew, so did our love for one another. Soon our master gave us permission to get married. Every slave on the plantation came to watch us jump the broom into marriage at the wedding ceremony. In time, I gave birth to 4 beautiful children. Amadi and I raised our family in a tiny shack with the meager rations our master gave to us on these rags on our backs as our reward. Though we lived in misery, captured in the cage of slavery, at least we had each other. But then I thought my life would truly end when my master told me, "I have sold your husband away." It had been many years since I heard my father's voice, and years since I felt my mother's caress. And then my husband was taken away before I could even say goodbye. I never heard another word from him again. My 4 children were all that I had in my life. I had to do all I could to try and keep the rest of my family together. A fact I learned from this page is that slave owners, people who were the masters, broke apart families and sold families like a husband and a wife, a mom and a dad to different places. My hopes for my family were denied as soon as my oldest child, Joshua, began to grow towards manhood. By then, everyone could see that my boy had a special gift. It's as if when he talked to horses, they understood every word. Master Clemens saw the bond my son had with the animals and sought profit from it. The last time I ever saw Joshua, he was in the chains in the back of a wagon. He was on the way to be sold to another plantation, just as his father had been sold only 1 year earlier. "Please, master, don't tear my family apart again. You can't sell Joshua. Don't sell my son," I pleaded. But Master Clemens just pushed me aside. "That boy is more mine than yours," he yelled as the wagon drove Joshua away. How could he do this? Word was passed across country from slave to slave. After what seemed an unbearably long time, I found out that Joshua had been sent to Randolph Plantation, hundreds of miles away. Joshua will learn from the blacksmith all about fire. He will probably be hired out to bring more profits to his new master. A promise that Joshua made was also passed on to me. He vowed, "I will save every penny I am allowed to keep to buy freedom for my whole family." So something I learned is that slaves could buy their freedom with money. I didn't realize that. I wonder, here's a question, how much do they have to pay to buy freedom? And another response is, I am surprised that so many people in Minna's family has been like taken away. My second child, Sally, was so smart she taught herself to read by listening to our master's children at their lessons. But in Georgia, it was against the law for slaves to know how to read. Can you believe that? That's a fact I'm going to write down. It was against the law for slaves to know how to read. Why do you think it would be against the law? I wonder if it's because the masters didn't want slaves to be smarter than them. So I'm thinking maybe, in responses, maybe masters didn't want them to know how to read. Master Clemens took a whip to my Sally. She just stood there and took the lashing and did not even cry. That child has a will of iron and a head that won't be bowed. I fear for her. That's no way for a slave to be. So I woke Sally one night and hugged her and put her in the arms of a friend who would risk their lives taking my child up to the north for freedom. I I cry every time I hear the song they sang, and when I saw her for the very last time, they were signaling for other escaping slaves to steal away.